Welcome, fellow time travelers, to a journey through the ages, guided by the captivating life of an icon. This is Ageless Anecdotes, and today we're diving headfirst into the mesmerizing life of none other than Marilyn Monroe. Born Norma Jean Mortensen, but destined for legendary status, this is the sizzling, untold story of Hollywood's most enigmatic bombshell. From her riveting rise to stardom to the shocking secrets that shroud her legacy, we're peeling back the glitz and glamour to reveal the raw, unfiltered truth. But remember, here at Ageless Anecdotes, we don't just skim the surface. No, we dive deep into the heart of history to uncover the hidden tales and timeless lessons. Get ready for the real Marilyn, the seductress and the seeker, the vulnerable Norma Jean hidden behind the dazzling facade. So, dear time travelers, buckle up, because this is the story of Marilyn Monroe like you've never seen it before. This is the spicy, sensational journey through the life and times of an enduring icon. And as we embark on this adventure, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because here, we uncover the stories that truly stand the test of time. Childhood and early life. Marilyn Monroe's journey began as Norma Jean Mortensen on June 1, 1926, in Los Angeles, California. Her mother, Gladys Pearl Baker, had faced her own struggles, including a turbulent marriage to John Newton Baker, which ended in divorce. Norma Jean had two half-siblings from her mother's previous marriages, Robert and Bernice. Gladys worked hard to provide for her daughter, but faced personal challenges, including mental health issues. Norma Jean's life was marked by instability, moving between foster homes and relatives. She discovered she had a sister, Bernice, when she was 12, and they met for the first time in 1944. Despite the difficulties, a spark of hope emerged in young Norma Jean. Movies became her escape from the harsh realities of life. Foster families sent her to the cinemas to lift her spirits, and there, in the glow of the silver screen, she found a calling. She longed to be part of the magical world of acting. In her own words, "I didn't like the world around me because it was kind of grim. Some of my foster families used to send me to the movies to get me out of the house, and there I'd sit all day, and I loved it." In 1938, Norma Jean found a more stable home with Grace's aunt, Anna Lower, in Sawtell. She attended Emerson Junior High School, where she began to showcase her talent for writing. Despite facing challenges, including returning to live with the Goddards in Van Nuys in 1941, Norma Jean's life was about to take a significant turn. At just 16 years old, in 1942, she married James Dougherty, a 21-year-old factory worker. This decision was driven by California's child protection laws, preventing her from leaving the state. Her life as a housewife, however, left her yearning for something more. Norma Jean was on the cusp of a journey that would lead her into the bright lights of Hollywood and transform her into the iconic Marilyn Monroe. Amidst the backdrop of World War II, Norma Jean's life continued to evolve as her husband, James Dougherty, was deployed to the Pacific in April 1944. This separation marked a turning point for her. She found work at the Radioplane Company, a munitions factory in Van Nuys, and it was here that fate intervened in the form of photographer David Conover. Conover, on assignment from the U.S. Army Air Force's 1st Motion Picture Unit to capture morale-boosting images of female workers, met Norma Jean. Though none of her pictures were used for the intended purpose, it was this encounter that set her on the path to stardom. In January 1945, she left her factory job and began modeling for Conover and his associates. Her figure and looks were deemed ideal for pinup modeling and men's magazines. To increase her appeal, she straightened her hair and adopted the signature blonde look. Under the guidance of the Blue Book Model Agency, she quickly became one of the most hard-working models, gracing the covers of numerous magazines such as Pageant, U.S. Camera, Laugh, and Peak, often under the pseudonym Jean Norman. Her journey took another significant turn when, through Emmeline Snively, the agency's owner, she signed with an acting agency in June 1946. After an initial disappointment at Paramount Pictures, she was given a screen test by Ben Lyon, an executive at 20th Century Fox. Though Darryl F. Zanuck, the head executive, had reservations, he offered her a standard 6-month contract to prevent her from signing with rival studio RKO Pictures. August 1946 marked the beginning of Marilyn Monroe's journey at 20th Century Fox, and it was during this time that she adopted the name Marilyn Monroe. The first name was suggested by Lyon, who was reminded of Broadway star Marilyn Miller, while the last name was a tribute to her mother's maiden name. As her career prospects rose, Norma Jean faced a difficult decision. In September 1946, she divorced James Dougherty, who was against her pursuing an acting career. Marilyn's first 6 months at Fox were devoted to learning the craft of acting, singing, dancing, and immersing herself in the world of film production. Her contract was renewed in February 1947, and she was cast in her initial film roles, albeit in minor parts in the 1947 film Dangerous Years and the 1948 film Scooda-Hoo, Scooda-Hey. Monroe's determination to succeed was unwavering. She further honed her acting skills at the Actors Laboratory Theater, a school known for teaching the techniques of the group theater. Although her teachers initially saw her as too shy and insecure, Marilyn was undeterred. Her passion for acting continued to burn bright. However, despite her enthusiasm, 20th Century Fox did not renew her contract in August 1947. Undaunted, she returned to modeling while taking on odd jobs at film studios, including serving as a dancing pacer behind the scenes to assist lead actors in musical productions. Journey in Hollywood. After her contract with Columbia Pictures ended, Marilyn returned to the world of modeling. She was a versatile model, from posing for a Pabst beer commercial to artistic nude photographs for John Baumgarth calendars under the pseudonym Mona Monroe. Her comfort with her body was a testament to her self-confidence. During this time, she also became the protégée and mistress of Johnny Hyde, the vice president of the William Morris Agency. Through him, she secured small roles in several films, including Joseph Mankiewicz's 1950 film All About Eve and John Huston's 1950 film The Asphalt Jungle. Although her screen time in the latter was brief, her performance caught the attention of critics, signaling her transition from movie model to a serious actress. In December 1950, Hyde negotiated a significant 7-year contract for Marilyn with 20th Century Fox. Sadly, Hyde's untimely death from a heart attack left Marilyn heartbroken. 1951 saw Marilyn in supporting roles in several moderately successful Fox comedies, including As Young as You Feel, Love Nest, and Let's Make It Legal. Critics praised her, describing her as superb and one of the brightest up-and-coming actresses. Audiences were captivated, with thousands of fan letters pouring in weekly, and she was named Miss Cheesecake of 1951 by Stars and Stripes, reflecting the soldiers' preferences in the Korean War. In February 1952, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association recognized Marilyn as the best young box office personality. Her private life also made headlines as she embarked on a highly publicized romance with retired New York Yankees baseball star Joe DiMaggio. However, Marilyn found herself in the midst of a scandal in March 1952 when it was revealed that she had posed for a nude calendar in 1949. To manage the situation, she decided to admit to the photos, emphasizing her financial struggles at the time. This strategy not only gained her public sympathy, but also increased interest in her films, where she was now receiving top billing. Life magazine featured her on the cover as the talk of Hollywood, and gossip columnists couldn't get enough of her. 3 of her films, Clash by Night, Don't Bother to Knock, and We're Not Married, were released to capitalize on her newfound popularity. Despite being celebrated as a sex symbol, Marilyn was determined to showcase her acting range. She had been taking acting classes and landed roles in Clash by Night and Don't Bother to Knock, receiving positive reviews for her performances. Yet, it wasn't all smooth sailing. Marilyn's reputation for being difficult on set began to take hold. Her perfectionism, low self-esteem, and stage fright contributed to her challenges. She leaned on acting coaches and used substances to cope with anxiety and insomnia. Her behavior was also shaped by the sexism she faced in the male-dominated industry. Marilyn Monroe's journey in Hollywood was a tumultuous one, but it was also marked by extraordinary talent and an indomitable spirit that would continue to captivate audiences worldwide. The sensational year. Marilyn's journey in 1953 commenced with the Technicolor film Noir, Niagara. In this gripping tale, she portrayed a femme fatale with a sinister plot to murder her husband, played by Joseph Cotten. It was during this time that Marilyn, together with her makeup artist Alan Whitey Snyder, crafted her signature makeup look. With dark arched brows, pale skin, glistening red lips, and a beauty mark, she had found the perfect formula for her allure. Niagara was notable for its overtly sexual themes, pushing the boundaries of what was acceptable in cinema during that era. Some scenes left little to the imagination, with Marilyn's body veiled only by a sheet or a towel, a shocking departure from the norms of the time. The film's most iconic moment, a 30-second shot of Marilyn strolling with her hips swaying, became a cornerstone of the film's marketing. Upon its release in January 1953, Niagara faced protests from women's clubs who deemed it immoral, but it struck a chord with audiences. While Variety called it cliched and morbid, the New York Times acknowledged the film's allure, declaring that the falls in Miss Monroe are something to see. Marilyn's on-screen presence was captivating, even when she simply walked. The second film that solidified Marilyn's status as a Hollywood icon in 1953 was the satirical musical comedy Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. In this film, based on Anita Loos' novel, Marilyn and Jane Russell portrayed two vivacious showgirls with a penchant for attracting wealthy suitors. The role was originally intended for Betty Grable, but Marilyn was swiftly becoming a star who could appeal to both male and female audiences. To promote the film, Marilyn and Jane Russell pressed their hand and footprints in wet concrete outside Grauman's Chinese Theater, a significant Hollywood landmark. Gentlemen Prefer Blondes was released shortly after and proved to be a major box office success, solidifying Marilyn's status as a leading lady. Critics praised Marilyn's performance, particularly her rendition of "Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend." Her ability to infuse songs with sensuality and enhance the appeal of a scene through her presence was undeniable. In November 1953, Marilyn starred alongside Betty Grable and Lauren Bacall in How to Marry a Millionaire. This film continued the successful formula of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, with Marilyn playing a naive model in search of a wealthy husband. What set this film apart was its use of CinemaScope, a widescreen format that aimed to lure audiences back to theaters in the face of increasing competition from television. Despite mixed reviews, How to Marry a Millionaire became Marilyn's most significant box office success at that point in her career, further solidifying her star power. Marilyn's influence extended beyond cinema. In December 1953, she graced the cover and centerfold of the inaugural issue of Playboy magazine, a move she did not consent to. This iconic moment marked her as a leading sex symbol and cultural icon. Mid-1950s to late 1950s, despite being one of 20th Century Fox's biggest stars, Marilyn's contractual situation remained unchanged since 1950. She found herself paid considerably less than other stars of her stature and lacked the freedom to choose her projects. Her efforts to break free from the pin-up image and take on more substantial roles were stifled by Darryl F. Zanuck, the studio head who held a personal dislike for her and believed her box office potential was limited to a specific image. Zanuck's decision to focus solely on entertainment further hindered her aspirations. In January 1954, the studio suspended Marilyn when she refused to participate in yet another musical comedy, The Girl in Pink Tights. To counter negative publicity, she married Joe DiMaggio at San Francisco City Hall on January 14, 1954. Their whirlwind honeymoon took them from Paso Robles to San Luis Obispo, and eventually to Idyllwild, California. Just 15 days after their wedding, they embarked on a journey to Japan, where Marilyn accompanied DiMaggio on his commitment to train Japanese baseball teams. Her visit extended to Korea, where she entertained over 60,000 U.S. Marines in a USO show. Upon her return to the U.S., Marilyn received Photoplay's Most Popular Female Star Award. She resolved her differences with Fox in March, securing a new contract, a $100,000 bonus, and a starring role in The 7-Year Itch, adapted from the successful Broadway play. In April 1954, River of No Return, a Western directed by Otto Preminger, was released. Marilyn was critical of the film, considering it a Z-grade cowboy movie where the scenery overshadowed the acting. Despite her reservations, the film was well received by audiences. Following her suspension, Marilyn reluctantly starred in the musical There's No Business Like Show Business, a project she strongly disliked. The film, released in late 1954, was met with mixed reviews, with critics deeming her performance vulgar. In September 1954, she began filming Billy Wilder's comedy, The 7-Year Itch. The film saw her opposite Tom Ewell, portraying a woman who becomes the object of her married neighbor's fantasies. A memorable scene featuring Marilyn standing on a subway grate, her white dress billowing, garnered immense attention and became one of her most iconic moments. The film, released in June 1955, was a commercial triumph. Despite her professional success, Marilyn's personal life was tumultuous. The infamous subway grate scene marked the end of her marriage to Joe DiMaggio, who was deeply upset by the publicity stunt. Their union had been marred by jealousy, control, and physical abuse from DiMaggio's side. Marilyn filed for divorce upon her return to Hollywood in October 1954, only 9 months after their wedding. Marilyn's transformation during this period extended beyond her film career. She and photographer Milton Green founded Marilyn Monroe Productions, MMP, a bold move that contributed to the dismantling of the studio system. Tired of being typecast in traditional sex roles, Marilyn asserted that Fox had not fulfilled its obligations, such as paying her the promised bonus. This led to a year-long legal battle between her and the studio. In 1955, Marilyn relocated to Manhattan and immersed herself in acting. She studied under the guidance of acting coach Constance Collier and attended Lee Strasberg's method acting workshops at the Actors Studio. Strasberg and his wife Paula played a pivotal role in her life, providing private lessons to help her overcome her shyness. Psychoanalysis became a part of her journey, as Strasberg believed that confronting emotional traumas was essential for an actor's craft. By the end of 1955, Marilyn Monroe had renegotiated her contract with Fox, marking a significant milestone. The new agreement granted her $400,000 to make 4 films, empowering her to choose projects, directors, and cinematographers. Additionally, she retained the freedom to make 1 film with MMP for each completed film with Fox. As she ventured into the late 1950s, Marilyn Monroe's career and life were poised for transformation. Her determination, independence, and commitment to her craft would continue to shape her journey in the years to come. Marilyn started 1956 with a significant victory. She successfully renegotiated her contract with 20th Century Fox. This newfound control over her career allowed her to choose her projects and assert her independence. To mark this milestone, she legally changed her name to Marilyn Monroe. The press applauded her triumph, hailing her as a shrewd businesswoman. In contrast, her relationship with playwright Arthur Miller, whom she married in June 1956, garnered mixed reactions from the media. Marilyn's first film under her new contract was Bus Stop, a drama in which she played Cherie, a saloon singer with dreams complicated by a naive cowboy's affection. She dedicated herself to the role, adopting an Ozark accent and deliberately downplaying her glamorous image. Director Joshua Logan initially had doubts about her acting abilities, but later praised her unique blend of comedy and tragedy. Bus Stop received critical acclaim, dispelling notions that Marilyn was just a glamour icon. Marilyn's marriage to Arthur Miller in June 1956 marked a significant turning point. To be with Miller, she converted to Judaism, causing Egypt to ban her films. The media portrayed the union as a mismatch, with headlines like, "Egghead weds hourglass." Despite the public's curiosity, the marriage endured, shaping the next phase of her life. In August 1956, Marilyn embarked on her first independent production with MMP, The Prince and the Showgirl, filmed at Pinewood Studios in England. The project, directed and co-produced by Laurence Olivier, was fraught with conflicts. Olivier's condescending attitude and demand for replication of Vivien Leigh's performance irked Marilyn. Additionally, her dependence on pharmaceuticals escalated, and personal problems, including a miscarriage, arose. Despite these challenges, filming concluded on schedule by the end of 1956. Following the production, Marilyn and Miller took an 18-month hiatus to focus on their family life. They split their time between various locations, including New York City, Connecticut, and Long Island. During this period, Marilyn faced health issues, including an ectopic pregnancy and a miscarriage, likely related to her endometriosis. Her struggles with barbiturate use resulted in a brief hospitalization. Disputes over MMP's management with Milton Green led to her buying out his share of the company. In July 1958, Marilyn returned to Hollywood to star alongside Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis in Billy Wilder's comedy Some Like It Hot. She initially considered the role of Sugar Cane another dumb blonde, but Miller's encouragement and a lucrative offer swayed her decision. The film's production was notoriously challenging, with Marilyn demanding numerous retakes and struggling to remember lines. Tensions between Marilyn and director Wilder escalated due to creative differences. Despite the tumultuous production, Some Like It Hot proved to be a critical and commercial triumph upon its release in March 1959. Marilyn's performance earned her a Golden Globe, and critics hailed her comedic timing and sex appeal. The film has since become a cinematic classic, recognized by various institutions as one of the greatest films ever made. Struggles and triumphs. After her hiatus following Some Like It Hot, Marilyn returned to the screen with Let's Make Love in late 1959. She accepted the role primarily to fulfill her contractual obligations with 20th Century Fox. George Cukor directed, and Arthur Miller contributed to rewriting the script. The film's production was marred by Marilyn's frequent absences from the set. During filming, her widely reported affair with co-star Yves Montand was used in the film's publicity campaign. However, Let's Make Love failed upon its 1960 release, with critics describing Marilyn as untidy and the film as vulgar. The Misfits, directed by John Huston and written by Arthur Miller, was Marilyn's next project. She played a recently divorced woman who befriends 3 aging cowboys. Filming was difficult due to her failing health, ongoing drug addiction, and troubled marriage to Miller. Marilyn underwent gallbladder surgery and struggled with addiction to barbiturates. Despite her personal challenges, her acting on set was genuine, drawing from her inner emotional depth. Following the completion of The Misfits, Marilyn and Arthur Miller separated, leading to a Mexican divorce in January 1961. The film performed poorly upon release, with mixed reviews from critics. However, it has garnered renewed appreciation in the 21st century for Marilyn's mature and empathetic portrayal. Marilyn's planned television adaptation of W. Somerset Maugham's Rain fell through due to disagreements over her choice of director, Lee Strasberg. Instead of pursuing work, she grappled with health problems throughout the first half of 1961, including surgeries for endometriosis and cholecystectomy. She also faced depression, which led to a 4-week hospitalization. During this period, she found support from Joe DiMaggio and briefly dated Frank Sinatra. In the spring of 1962, Marilyn re-emerged into the public eye, receiving a World Film Favorite Golden Globe Award. She began filming Something's Got to Give, a remake of My Favorite Wife, co-starring Dean Martin and Sid Charisse. This marked a return to work after a hiatus. On May 19, 1962, Marilyn made headlines with her performance of Happy Birthday, Mr. President at President John F. Kennedy's early birthday celebration. Her rhinestone-covered dress, which created an illusion of nudity, caused a stir. This event increased tensions with Fox, which had hoped she would cancel her New York appearance. Something's Got to Give, in which she swam naked in a swimming pool. The press was invited to photograph this historic moment, but her frequent illnesses during filming led to Fox claiming she was faking her sickness. On June 7, 1962, Fox fired Marilyn and sued her for damages. Fox later regretted its decision and reopened negotiations with Marilyn in June. They reached a settlement that allowed her to return to the film, recommence Something's Gotta Give, and star in 1964 film What a Way to Go. She also had plans for a biopic of Jean Harlow. To rebuild her public image, Marilyn engaged in publicity ventures, including interviews for Life and Cosmopolitan magazines. She participated in her first Vogue photo shoot with Bert Stern, collaborating for 2 series of photographs, one a traditional fashion editorial and another where she posed nude. These photographs were published posthumously under the title The Last Sitting, Death and Funeral. In her final months, Marilyn Monroe resided at 1230 5 Fifth Helena Drive in Brentwood, Los Angeles. On the night of August 4, 1962, her housekeeper Eunice Murray was staying at her home. In the early morning hours of August 5th, Murray sensed that something was amiss. She noticed light coming from beneath Marilyn's bedroom door, but received no response when she tried to communicate. The bedroom was locked, so Murray contacted Marilyn's psychiatrist, Ralph Greenson. Greenson arrived and broke into the bedroom through a window, discovering Marilyn lifeless in her bed. Her physician, Hyman Engelberg, arrived shortly afterward and pronounced her dead. The Los Angeles Police Department was notified at 4:25 a.m. Marilyn Monroe had passed away between 8:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. on August 4, 1962. Monroe's sudden death made headlines across the United States and Europe. Marilyn Monroe's funeral took place on August 8th at the Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery. The service was private, attended only by her closest associates. Joe DiMaggio, her half-sister Bernice Baker Miracle, and business manager Inez Milson organized the funeral. Crowds of spectators gathered outside the cemetery to pay their respects. Marilyn was laid to rest in Crypt No. 24 at the Corridor of Memories. And there you have it, fellow time travelers, the spellbinding journey through the life and times of Marilyn Monroe. From her turbulent beginnings to the dazzling heights of Hollywood stardom, Marilyn's story reminds us that behind every icon, there's a world of untold tales and timeless lessons. We've peeled back the layers of glitz and glamour to reveal the raw, unfiltered truth about the woman behind the legend, the seductress and the seeker, the vulnerable Norma Jean hidden behind the dazzling facade. Before we bid adieu, remember to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because here at Ageless Anecdotes, we uncover the stories that truly stand the test of time. Share your thoughts, stories, and suggestions in the comments below. We can't wait to hear from you. Thank you for joining us on this captivating adventure. Until next time, keep exploring the ageless anecdotes that make our world so endlessly fascinating. Stay curious, stay timeless.